Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of Nerd of the Third Power, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy and awesome. I'm your host and master of ceremonies, Dr. Gonzo. With me, as always, in this epic quest of awesomeness is our resident anime goddess, the one, the only, the beautiful, the Cat. Cat, how you doing?
I am, doing, every time that you say the one, the only, the beautiful, the Cat, I do a pose, and I wish that this were video so that you could see the pose that I do. Yes, look at me, strike a pose, I'm Vogue.
Are you doing, the Ginyu Force thing?
It's either that or the Vogue strike a pose Madonna thing, but a little bit of both. Both. Both is good.
Alright, and in our other co-pilot's chair is our resident English person, Skyblaze. Skyblaze, how you doing?
Where am I? Who are you? What's going on? Coffee.
Who let her into the patine again? I told you, we keep the patine locked up.
Coffee. Right, yes. Recording. Yeah, I'm doing that. I haven't slept properly for 2 weeks.
Yes, we've all been trading health tips before we started up this recording. And in our correspondence corner, we have both Brian and John. How are you guys doing?
Well, I don't have any coffee. I'm just drinking some nice Arnold Palmer, but apparently everyone else has coffee.
I'm sticking to water, but my brain is still kind of crossed between this mental image I've gotten of either Madonna as Captain Ginyu or Captain Ginyu as Madonna, and I kind of keep flip-flopping between the two, and my brain is shorting out.
This is the opposite of a problem.
Your brain is shorting out. You mean it's not doing that all the time?
Well, yeah, shut it.
That would explain the bad puns that he was throwing out before the episode actually started.
Yeah, that would answer several questions, actually.
And that's why I'm already in the Pain Glove, a record.
Many of which I didn't even realize I needed to ask. So, anyway, we got a good show for you tonight. We are going to be discussing the fourth entry in the Jurassic Park series that has been smashing box office records. It's apparently set the new record for biggest opening weekend, at least of the year, if not of all time. I don't know. I hear a lot of conflicting reports. But, yeah, that's going to be fun. So, kind of looking forward to that. But I know Kat's been looking forward to this because I'm pretty sure she's got Michael Crichton's skeleton stashed in her closet.
You don't know what's in there. You don't want to know what's in there.
And now I am frightened.
So yes, that's gonna be a lot of fun. So, but of course, there is procedure to follow. So we are going to begin, as always, with Ask a Geek. And see, we got some questions here. Our first one comes from Mark, and it is for me. And he asked, with the Steam summer sale in full swing, have you picked up any interesting games? Actually, there's a couple. Over the summer sales, I tend to stay away from a lot of larger AAA games and get a lot of indie stuff. And I've gotten a few really good ones. Actually, someone gifted to me a game called Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, which is a side-scrolling action title, which is basically The Godfather meets the zombie apocalypse. It's basically you're a mob enforcer fighting off waves of zombies in 1930s New York. It's hysterical. It really is.
Man, with a name like that, I was expecting a spaghetti western in a very literal sense.
Every time you speak, I want to hit you.
That's why we put him on a podcast.
Every time. I don't know if it's just a talent you have or what, but every time you speak, something comes out of your mouth that makes me just wish you were in front of me so I could throttle the life from you.
This is how you know the Pain Glove isn't enough. We need to move straight onto an Iron Maiden or something.
Or to an AC/DC.
I'll tell you another one that I've been having a lot of fun. This is one called Deadcore, and it's basically, think a hardcore version of Portal. It's just all physics platforming puzzles, and it is insane. So, but honestly, if I were listing every game I bought over the Steam summer sale, I would be here for hours. So, and he's got a second question, which is, what did I think of Hatred? Honestly,
wait, did you actually buy that?
I did, out of sheer morbid curiosity.
Oh dear God, dude.
Yeah, it was. I find it no coincidence that Steam decided that it was going to implement a refund policy the week that game came out. I bought it just out of sheer morbid curiosity because like I've
never heard of YouTube.
There's
Seriously.
There's a difference between watching a game and playing it. I don't like watching other people play games.
Yes,
like
one
playing them
doesn't involve you actually paying money for it.
Well, I got my money back on it. If that's any consolation, which I
enough.
suppose tells you everything I think about it. But it's like the thing is like I'm no stranger to violent games. I mean, shit, I love brutal Doom. That's the only way I can play Doom now, and that's about as over the top as it can get. But honestly, I for all the controversy surrounding it, I found Hatred to just be boring. There was like it was so bland that I couldn't even make fun of it effectively. People who follow me on Facebook, I was like, I'm going to live blog my thoughts on Hatred as I play it. I got 20 minutes in, and I'm just like, this is boring. That's what all the fuss was about. Just a boring twin stick shooter that I mean, there's literally nothing to it. Like, I know the game advertised that there's going to be no context for the violence, and I was like, well, I expected at least something, but no, it's just like the game's just like, nope, here's a bunch of people, here's a gun on your bike, and I'm just like, that's it? No, why am I pissed off? So I finally had to invent context to compel myself to play the game. So I came up with a story that the main character was an Annapolis native who went to a seafood restaurant, asked for Maryland blue crab, and was given Florida red, and that just pissed him right the fuck off. And only people from Maryland will get that joke.
So, you and me, and that's it.
Yep. So, yeah, Hatred, pretty boring, Honestly, you could watch Falling Down and get the same experience and at least be entertained by it. So, there you go.
Is Falling Down a video game, or are you talking about, like, actually watching people falling down and get the same level of entertainment?
I'm talking about the movie Falling Down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so... Yeah, go watch the movie Falling Down, and you can get a more fulfilling experience out of watching somebody go crazy than you would with Hatred. Anyway, let's see. Next question here is for all of us. I think it's actually one that we might have been asked before, but what the heck? It's a good question. Let's go with it anyway. And it is from Jessica. It is for all of us, and it is addressed to all the Whovians. What are some plot lines or monsters that you would like to see come back for the next season of Doctor Who? So, Skyblaze, why don't we start with you on this one?
Actually, yeah, the Sutex people, the Osirans, and their history, because we know from Pyramids of Mars that they had an effect on ancient Egyptian society, and potentially like the development of the human race, but we don't know to what extent exactly what they did. We only know even like the proper names of two of them. We only know about Sutek and Horus. So what about the rest of the Osirans? What did they do? What happened? Are there any of them left? Are they still about? Are there any? What influence did they have on Earth? Were they some of the people responsible for things like the Sphinx? Did they teach humans how to build the pyramids? What's going on there? Inquiring minds.
Do you think maybe they never tackled that because of Stargate?
Well, Pyramids of Mars was 1970s, so.
Yes, I know, but like maybe they were eventually going to come back to it, and then there was an entire show that was basically that, and they were like, maybe we don't need to come back to this.
It could be, but it would still be nice to see Doctor Who's take on it, because it would be very, very different.
It'd be amazing.
So there you go. That's what I want to see.
All right, Brian, what about you?
I don't have an answer really, because we've seen a couple comebacks at least, and we've seen some new things, so. I'm just more along the lines curious of where they're supposed to be taking the stories in general, so I have no idea how to answer this question anymore. Because like the first time I answered, I was like, Cybermen! And the next season, like, hey, Cybermen are back! It's like, yay! So I was like, now it's like, I don't know what I want to see.
I really, really need some follow-up for the Doctor's daughter. For God's sake, can we have some closure? Especially since now they would actually be a good age distant apart, where she really could be like the daughter and be like Dad, and like I think it would be cute.
Yeah.
And I would love to see it. Somebody
Doctor's daughter for next companion.
And it would be amusing, and it would be kind of like bring up some angst from the Doctor's past, because we know that he had a family at one point, and he's been a father and a grandfather, and now we've got strong hints that, you know, all of his family are gone. So how would he react to this actually being in that role again?
You know, that brings up what I want to see done, like, as soon as possible, because Carol Ann Ford's health is not in the best shape as it ever was. I want to see the Doctor go back and look up Susan. I want to see a reunion between the Doctor and his granddaughter, because he said he was going to come back and he never fucking did. So I want to see, you know, I want to see Peter Capaldi's Doctor go back to visit his granddaughter and have her slap him across his face going, "What the fuck took you so long?"
Yeah, that's a long plot thread to leave dangling. That's almost half a century there.
I know.
Unless you count the audios as canon, in which case he did go back and it did not go well.
Well, we know it's not going to go well because it's the Doctor.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. Since Night of the Doctor pretty much made all the Eighth Doctor audios canon, I guess they really can't do that. So, but you know, hey, a guy can dream. John, what about you?
You know, honestly, this is not exactly what you would call a forgotten monster that hasn't been, you know, dealt with a bit. I still want to see a Dalek story as good as the first one that the new series did. I'm kind of still waiting on that. I'd like to see a Dalek story where they aren't just like rushing in to destroy everything. I want to see them be sneaky and devious again, like they were in whatchamacallit, Victory of the Daleks. I want to see them being manipulative and sneaky again, and pull off some sort of like season-long hijinks where they just show up in the end and they're like, "Surprise! It was us!" You know,
they should say it exactly like that too. Surprise!
Surprise! It was us. Just hire me to do it exactly like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I've just felt like they've been kind of boring for most of what they've used them for in the new series, which is a shame because they're still my pet favorites.
Okay. And she's got one more question for all of us, because we're all My Little Pony fans, and that she wants to know what our thoughts on the 100th episode were.
I haven't seen it.
I knew that was going to be it.
Haven't seen it yet. I heard there's a lot of like fan service in it though.
Oh god, yes.
So hard.
So much. I knew that the episode was going to be amazing, where within the first first like 30 seconds of the show, Cranky Doodle's getting pissed off because the invitation to his weddings have been been misprinted, and he's getting pissed off, and he's screaming at somebody about how they agreed to do it for, you know, X amount of money, and they got it wrong. And the camera cuts to Derpy Hooves, who puts a bushel of muffins on the counter and goes, "Would you like a muffin?"
In the most adorable voice. She has the most adorable voice now.
Really
I now have to get all of the windows in my apartment replaced because I squeaked at such a high pitch that the glass shattered.
Oh, but it goes further than that.
The bit... Oh, it does. I mean, everything whatsoever to do with Doctor Who. All of the things.
What is this word you're using? Man.
Yes.
That.
Also, the outfit he's wearing when he actually shows up for the wedding.
Yeah. And let's not forget what he says just before he charges into the wedding.
Yes. And also the like violin cello dubstep thing.
Yeah, that
with Octavia and Vinyl Scratch. Me and Tony were absolutely howling with laughter, and it was really catchy.
That was kind of the
like a copy of that.
That was
please.
The highlight of the episode for me, quite honestly. Octavia and Vinyl Scratch's whole everything was the highlight of the episode for me.
Yeah, they played that song, and I was like, I cannot wait for Clarion Carr to do a remix of this because it's going to be incredible.
I was impressed by how like almost not even subtext the nudging and winking about Lyra and Bon Bon was. Like how often they said best friend.
Like holding hooves and gazing adoringly into each other's eyes, saying how much they really cared about one.
It wasn't
and
subtext.
How often
it was
they
just
said
text.
best friend with so much emphasis.
As somebody who's spent like the past decade wearing like heavy duty slash goggles, I was like, Just let me take these goggles off. No, it still looks like that.
Not sure
Well,
if skewed by fandom or no, it's really there.
But I think honestly the
Yep.
best most amusing aspect of the episode, other than the lamp shading of the whole conflict in the background with the bugbears, where Apple Bloom and the Cutie Mark Crusaders are watching them gather, and they're like, I'm not sure if it's a friendship problem or a monster attack.
If it's a friendship problem, it'll be solved in half an hour.
Yeah.
So.
But
But
anyway,
Well played.
I enjoyed the
played.
bickering between Luna and Celestia over who was supposed to bring the present, because it's the
Yeah.
most sisterly they've acted towards each other in the entire series.
And whenever anybody came close enough to hear them, they would both just plaster on like formal smiles and be like, "Yes, everything's fine." As soon as they get out of earshot again, like, "No, it was you."
okay. Well, we could go
Amazing.
on at length about this episode, and in fact, me and Skyblaze are going to go on at length this in another podcast we do called Last Exit to Ponyville. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, and you'll be able to hear about us gush about this for about an hour, because we certainly could.
Yep.
And so that's all the Ask the Geek questions that we have time for this week. As always, you can send them to us through the email at billysmith@channelawesome.com. So go ahead and send your questions in. We love hearing from you guys and love answering your questions. And who knows, maybe yours will get read on the air. And with that, we're going to jump right into our news segment, starting this week with Brian. Brian, take it away.
Thank you, and welcome to this week's Multiverse headlines, which in fact don't actually have any headlines. E3 has pretty much been dominating the news lately, and because of that, the publishers really aren't going to release anything yet, in fear of getting swallowed alive by all the news that's coming out in LA. I honestly don't blame them at this point. So, I have very short headlines here right now. The only thing is that I try to update you on the Secret Wars delays that are going on over at Marvel right now, but I don't actually have anything to update you on other than they're still being delayed several weeks. So if you are following these series, please check with your local comic book store to make sure you are on the list, and they are going to be coming in, but they will be coming in a little bit later. I still wish I kind of know what was going on down there, because there's some massive delays going on. That's actually reached over to the Star Wars books as well. Oh, guess I did have a headline. In any case, that's it for me. I turn everything over to my film-watching colleague, Projectionist John. John, take it away.
Thanks, Brian. Well, this is normally the part where I say my usual bit about diving into the movie bin and all that, but today we're beginning on a much more somber note, and I'm sure most of you already know what I'm going to be talking about. Those of you who have been listening to our show for a while already know full well about my affinity for, well, some might honestly say borderline obsession with, the character of Count Dracula in all of the various media in which he has appeared. But while the Prince of Darkness has been portrayed by many, many actors over the decades, to the old school horror fans, there have only ever been two real Draculas. Hollywood's Bela Lugosi and, of course, the legendary icon of both English and American cinema, the late Sir Christopher Lee. Legendary is not an exaggeration in this case. Indeed, it might honestly be an understatement. Sir Lee's list of screen credits is staggering, his performance is unmatched, and his accomplishments away from the camera no less awe-inspiring than his films. Indeed, some of them have yet to be declassified by the British government. But despite his plethora of memorable film roles, including Saruman the White, Count Dooku, Lord Summerisle, and Death himself, to me, Christopher Lee will live on forever in my heart as Dracula. So a toast to you, Sir Christopher. You are the last of your kind, the gentleman ghouls, and we won't see your like on the screen again anytime soon. Since we're on the subject of such an actor so renowned for his villainous roles, I'm going to be focusing a bit on the dark side with the rest of my headlines, starting with the antagonist of Marvel's upcoming Doctor Strange. Baron Mordo may not be as familiar a name to geeks as Doctor Doom or the Codpiece. Thank you again, Grant Morrison. but he's got a long history of vexing the Sorcerer Supreme. A villain of such standing needs a truly tremendous actor behind him, and it looks like Marvel's right on the ball with this one. Chiwetel Ejiofor, the award-winning star of 12 Years a Slave, will be stepping into Mordo's boots in a new take on the character, which, we have been told, will be more psychologically complex and less a pure villain than we've seen from the character in the past. Between this and the gutsy but brilliant decision to cast Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, I'm getting more and more excited for Doctor Strange by the minute. What I am not excited for, however, is Suicide Squad, as we have finally received confirmation that Jared Leto's much-mocked 3 edgy 5 me Joker tattoos are, indeed, going to be present in the movie. Guys, I'm not averse to alternate takes on these characters, but this is just so dumb. Capital D-U-M, dumb. I swear, every time I try to get excited for the DC Cinematic Universe, it pulls something like this. But hey, at least the Power Rangers movie is looking like it knows how to have fun with its bad guys. Though we still don't have any casting announcements, or really that much in the way of storyline details, we do finally know who's going to be the Heavy, and it's none other than good old Rita Repulsa herself. One can only hope that the inevitable sequel will bring us my personal favorite, Lord Zed. And that's it for your movie news.
Why, thank you. The Chinese Ministry of Culture has blacklisted 38 Japanese anime and manga from online or print distribution. The new regulations will require that websites seek approval from the ministry to stream foreign media. The ministry evaluates and reviews materials and blacklists them if they include, quote, scenes of violence, pornography, terrorism, and crimes against public morality. Jesus, that's like all of it. Websites not found in compliance with the new regulations could lose their business licenses. The list of banned titles includes mega popular franchises like Blood Sea, High School of the Dead, Parasite, Sword Art Online 2, very specifically, Attack on Titan, Death Note, Psycho Pass, Claymore, and Black Butler. A ministry representative has stated that the list will grow. This has already forced one film festival in Shanghai to cancel their screening of the Attack on Titan animated film. Moving on, the Japanese cast of Rooster Teeth's RWBY has been announced. That's right, it finally happened. The latest issue of New Type magazine has revealed the dub actresses for the Warner Bros. Home Entertainment Japan's dub of RWBY. Ruby Rose will be played by Hayama Saori, best known for her roles as Sachi in Sword Art Online, and Shiba Miyuki in The Irregular at Magic High School. Vice Schnee will be played by Hikasa Yoko, who plays Stephanie Dola in No Game No Life, and Mio in K-On! Shimamura Yu will play Blake Belladonna. Shimamura is Annie Leonhardt in Attack on Titan, so read into that what you will. And Yang Xiaolong will be played by the talented Koshimizu Ami, who totally nailed it as Ryuko in Kill la Kill. So that's your main cast. The series will release on DVD and Blu-ray sometime this year in Japan. No info yet on if the dub series will ever be streamed, which would allow fans the opportunity to see the Japanese cast without importing a region-locked hard copy, which would be totally awesome. And finally, the One Piece manga has hit a huge milestone. The series, which has been running since 1997, has set a Guinness World Record for most copies published for the same comic book series by a single author. As of December last year, One Piece has over 320 million copies printed worldwide. There are 77 compiled volumes and almost 800 total chapters published over the last 18 years. And it's showing no signs of stopping. And that's all I've got going on in the anime and manga world. Hopefully, news will kind of pick up in the next couple of weeks after Anime Expo. In the meantime, over to you, Dr. Gonzo.
I don't even know why I'm doing headlines this week. I mean, you guys know it's calling E3, so you know all the big stories. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Fallout 4, Doom, Dishonored 2, The Last Guardian. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on. Really too much for me to cover in just 3 minutes. So really, I'm just going to spend my headline segment talking about the stuff that I'm really most excited about for E3. The big one that I'm really looking forward to is the new Doom. I'm not as stoked about the Final Fantasy VII Remake as I think everyone else is. Mostly because I'm one of those, old-timey people who thinks that, games should be left as they were. I'm one of those old guys. Really excited about Doom. Really excited about Dishonored 2, even though I haven't finished the first one yet. The Last Guardian, I really hope that finally comes out, because it's been, 6-7 years we've been waiting for that one. So that's going to be cool. I was really kind of interested to hear about the backwards compatibility on the Xbox One, being backwards compatible with Xbox 360. I don't have all the details in front of me just yet, but my actual backwards compatibility, like the PlayStation 2 had, or is it going to be like the older? Is it going to be like the shittier selective backwards compatibility that the Xbox 360 had? So definitely a lot going on. But you know what? We're going to be going about this at length next week in our E3 episode. So pretty much all the gaming news is going on this week. We're going to be talking about next week. So yeah, come back for that. All right, and that's all the headlines that we have for this week. We're going to take a quick musical break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing Jurassic World. Is this a triumphant return of the beloved film franchise, or should it have stayed extinct? Stay tuned. We got a lot of fun stuff ahead.
And we are back. Don't get alarmed. I know it's Brian, but everyone's still here. Unfortunately, I was unable to see the film over the weekend, but Dr. Gonzo and the cat both have. So they sort of let me step into the hosting chair a bit. Ooh, it's nice and comfy up here. And I'm going to sort of start... Shut up. Let me enjoy anything. So we're going to start up with discussing all of Jurassic World. So, everyone kind of knows what Jurassic World is, or do we? We all saw from the trailers that Jurassic World is the return of the Jurassic Park franchises. So, let's get stuff started, shall we? With, I guess, the general thoughts on the film for both of you. Dr. Gonzo, would you like to go first?
I think we should let Kat go first, because if I go first, it's going to start an argument.
All right, then. Kat, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. I loved it. It was extremely ridiculous. There was some aspects of it that were so incredibly unbelievable as to make the movie even more impossible than it should already be. But I fucking loved it. I don't care. I loved it. It was great.
Well, we see now Dr. Gonzo is sort of steaming in his chair. What do you say?
I am sad to say that I was actually somewhat less than impressed by this film. As I kind of mentioned to you before we started recording, the irony to me of this movie is that it's about creating something new that nobody's ever seen before, and yet it felt kind of samey to me and just kind of ticked a bunch of the same boxes. It wasn't a bad film by any stretch of the imagination, but it didn't wow me as much as the first Jurassic Park, which still, brings out the little 6-year-old dinosaur nut in me every time I watch it. So it just, I don't know, it just felt kind of, nothing I hadn't really seen before, I guess, is the only way I could really sum it up.
All right, well, so we got two varying opinions going on so far. So let's start things off with the obvious, the story in and of itself. I mean, from the trailers we get, it's sort of the return of the first Jurassic Park. The only big difference is in Jurassic World, obviously the park is now open to the public. But you open up a dinosaur park, things inevitably go wrong. So, Kat, just give us a quick sort of Cliff Notes story if you can.
All right, it is set 22 years after, is that right? 22 years?
Yeah.
After the original Jurassic Park film, and of course now it's on the same island, Isla Nublar, and the park is now open, and it's been open for a few years, and it's been pretty successful, but interest is starting to decline because it's sort of like in the Avengers. After a while, like, superheroes are no longer a huge deal because you just sort of get used to them. So now people are used to dinosaurs, and the park is kind of trying to come up with a way to make the dinosaurs more interesting. And since they can't do that, they decide to do something terrible, which is to make a new dinosaur. And so they have made the most horrifying thing that you can imagine, and it's this giant monstrous creature that's way too intelligent. And of course, this being a Jurassic film, it escapes and runs rampant, and chaos ensues.
Tits go inevitably up, people get inevitably nommed, and there's a lesson in there about not meddling with nature.
Yes.
See, that's the thing I remember kind of seeing and looking about, is that I was like, I hope there's some scene somewhere that there's at least maybe even the mention of Jeff Goldblum's character or any other characters from the previous Jurassic Park film going, this is a terrible idea. You are all stupid. Why are you doing this? Was there anything like that? Or is just, hey, here's the park. Happy Jurassic World.
They brought back Henry Wu, the scientist from the first film, and
Is that Jeff Goldblum?
No.
Then we don't care.
Well, I care because I've actually read the books, and they took a scene from the original novel that I thought was really novel and fit really well, especially considering all the paleontological advancements that have been made regarding dinosaur appearances, where Wu argues with the executive about the fact, no, we didn't create real dinosaurs, we just created what you think the public thinks real dinosaurs look like. Which was a scene lifted directly from the original novel, which I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought it was kind of... I think Wu was kind of underused. I feel like that there was a little more potential with his plotline that could have been explored between him and Vincent D'Onofrio, who, between this and Daredevil, I'm convinced is like in his I'm going to play a douchebag phase.
Well, I think, and this is something we can talk about later, but I think Wu was not meant to be something that's going to get wrapped up in the first movie. And by first movie, I mean the first of Jurassic World and what is to come, because I really feel like there's going to be a sequel following that with Wu and what Wu's got going on.
So.
All right, Wu, good for you. You went from minor character to starring role.
Yeah. there were a few beats. Like, remember I was talking about just ticking all the same boxes. One of the boxes that they ticked that I wish they hadn't was the inevitable child characters. The B plot of this film concerns a couple of brothers. One's a teenager, one's a little 10, 12-year-old.
Gray and we don't care about them, basically.
Gray and stereotypical teenager. Who are going to the park as sort of a last gift from their divorcing parents, which, I mean, honestly, that whole divorce plot could have just not needed to be there. It's
true.
It just, why is it there? Why do I care that they're being divorced? I really don't give a shit. And it was, I don't know, they just didn't really add anything to the film except, I think, a sort of a holy grail for Bryce Dallas Howard's character to chase after. And while we're talking about Bryce Dallas Howard, is it just me, or did this film seem really indecisive as to who the asshole should be? Because at the start of the film, okay, here's Bryce Dallas Howard. She's being the stereotypical corporate shill who believes that she is in total control and nobody can second guess her opinions. Okay, she's the asshole. Wait, no, we've also got Vincent D'Onofrio here, the fat guy who wants to control the dinosaurs, and now he's the asshole. Wait, okay, tell me who I'm supposed to hate, movie.
Well, maybe you missed it, but she had character development, and she stopped being quite as much of an asshole.
Yeah, but again, Bryce Dallas Howard is a great actress, and I feel like that she was kind of really undersold in this film. I feel like they didn't give her enough to work with to really show off her acting chops. Maybe that's just me.
Well, since you sort of brought him up, like, what was her character? What was she there for? What did she do? Because we'll talk about some of the main characters, then we'll talk about Chris Pratt, because he's all over the posters.
So Bryce Dallas Howard's character is Claire, is that her name?
Yes.
I should just pull the Wikipedia up. My brain's a little fried for this, but...
That's where I am. Good for me. I am doing a good host. Okay.
But she plays, she's sort of like one of the managers of the park. She's not like the CEO, but she's sort of like in charge of making sure everything runs smoothly, and she's in charge of monitoring all of the numbers and the revenue and innovating shit and that sort of thing. She's just sort of generally in charge without being at the top completely. And so her nephews come to visit while she's talking to some investors about the creation of this new dinosaur. And so it's sort of the nephews are there to sort of spur her into getting out of the office and into the field and actually experiencing the horror that is unleashing dinosaurs into the world. So that's sort of her thing, is like she's not a parent at all, but she's got these kids thrown on her and she doesn't know what to do, but she has to protect them at all costs.
Very interesting. Just reminding the whole ticking off the boxes. It sounds a little bit like Grant in the first film. Archaeologist, I don't really like kids, but here's some 2 kids I got to take care of because we are now lost in dinosaur land. So she sort of plays that part, but she's more along the lines, it sounds like to me anyway, because again, I haven't seen the film. One of those like micromanagers who didn't seize the problems with micromanaging until she experienced it herself.
Yeah, well, it was sort of like she didn't really, her character doesn't really understand dinosaurs. She sees them as, well, she's essentially John Hammond from the Jurassic Park book. She sees them as a source of revenue. She sees them, or they constantly refer to the dinosaurs as assets rather than animals or living creatures. She doesn't really see them that way until she is motivated to get out there and actually interact with them. And then she's like, fuck, these are living fucking creatures. So. Like, it's revolutionary for her.
I see. So then I guess that's Claire, and we've sort of then. So, all right, we beat around the bush. How is Chris Pratt? Is Pratt, is he Parks and Rec's Chris Pratt? Is this just Star-Lord with dinosaurs? What are we going for here?
He's Chris Pratt. That's really kind of his thing. I don't know. I'd say he's closest to Star-Lord with dinosaurs. I don't know. Like he's Chris Pratt. There's really no other way to describe him, for good or for ill. He is Chris Pratt. I did like the sort of a plot where he's training the raptors and he's formed like kind of a relationship with them. And I thought it was kind of a new twist because, like, ooh, raptors, they're the big evil dinosaurs. Oh, wait, these raptors are nice. They're friendly. And I was like, I was expecting a lot more kind of a bonding mechanic, I guess, to the film between Pratt and the raptors. But, again, it was one of those things where I feel like it was... you know what? I kind of feel like that whole plotline was in there just to highlight how much of an asshole Vincent D'Onofrio's character was. Just like, oh, these, you have Chris Pratt. Oh, you have to respect these animals and understand them. Hoskins, no, I want to put guns on their heads and make them soldiers because I'm an asshole.
I just want raptors with freaking laser beams on their heads. Like,
really, I mean, it's like the irony. Another irony of this film. We find one of the characters, Hoskins' character, is more of a mad scientist than most Bond villains.
Oh my god, he's crazy. And not to get too far from Chris Pratt, but he is the most ridiculous part about this movie. Like, anyway. But Chris Pratt, he's not playing up the comedy quite as much. He's still sort of funny and a little bit flirtatious, but not, like, super carefree and goofy like we would normally see him. So it almost seems like he's a little flat. But it's just because his character is a lot more serious than we're used to seeing him playing, and I love his relationship with the raptors. He's sort of like the pack leader. He's like the raptor whisperer who, that's all it's true, though. He's the raptor whisperer. He just hangs around with raptors and trains them like you would train a dog, except a dog that can rip your throat out in like 3 seconds.
I tell you one thing I did like about the raptor relationship, and that's that they established that it has limits. When Chris Pratt winds up falling into the pit to rescue one of the other workers, and established, okay, yeah, they respect you and they understand, and you have a relation to them and they do respect you. But you don't really want to push that. So I was kind of afraid that Pratt was going to be, like Kat said, the raptor whisperer, and he was going to be able to have these animals at his beck and call. But it's like, no, these are still wild fucking animals, and they will take a chunk out of him if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, I loved that they were, no matter what you train them to do, they are still wild fucking animals, who are, like, it's in their instinct and nature to just fucking tear shit up and eat it. And no matter what you do, you can't change that.
So that's a lesson for everyone who wants, like, oh, I want a Bengal tiger. No, the Bengal tiger will eat you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, all right, so we got ourselves some of the nice characters. Any other character that we missed that you guys want to talk about? I know you keep bringing up Vincent D'Onofrio being terrible.
He's like Kat said, he's the most ridiculous. He's not, to me, the most ridiculous part of the movie, but that deals more with the effects. But no, as far as the character goes, he's a mad scientist. He keeps talking about, imagine if we had these guys in Iraq and in Budapest. And I was like, what? If Hawkeye and Black Widow aren't enough for you? And it's like, it's pretty clear that somehow or other he has orchestrated this whole thing. And it's like, raptors with guns is like, have you watched any Alien movie ever? Do you have any idea, like, do you not? I mean, why are we trying to weaponize animals? It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, he's sort of that militaristic, like, I see something innovative and I want to turn it and put it at war. I want to make this into a weapon. And it's like, do you not understand that the dinosaurs are going to eat you? No, stop. And it's just so ridiculous. Like, to me, it is the most ridiculous part of the story, just to have this guy. And I think he's even crazy for other people. Other people are like, dude, you're insane. Like, other military people are like, you're nuts. And he just sort of comes off as this rogue guy who has a lot of influence, who wants to do something that everybody thinks is a bad idea except for him.
I do like the idea that his idea is so terrible, even the military is like, no, we don't want to do this. It's also kind of funny, too, because back in the day, I'm showing my age here again, there was a cartoon called Dino Riders that this guy reminds me, like, maybe he watched that cartoon way too much. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to put, military armor, and I'm going to have laser beams. Someone needs to sit them down going, sir, that was a cartoon? Not historical facts.
And also a really bad idea.
And it's established that he had some kind of role in the creation of the Indominus Rex, which leads me into what I find is most ridiculous, is the Indominus Rex itself. They keep saying, we don't know what it's made of, and it's the mystery dinosaur. What's in it? Ooh, nobody knows. It's like Taco Bell tacos. Nobody knows. But it's like they keep pulling new they keep pulling new abilities out of their asses for this dinosaur that I'm convinced that they've prolapsed. First, it starts off, okay, it can think, it can reason, it scratched on the walls of the pen to make it look like it escaped to, try and fool them. Okay, that I can buy. The raptors have proven to have that kind of capacity before, so it's not too unbelievable here. Oh, it's remembered where its implant was, and it's clawed it out. Okay, I'm kind of raising my eyebrow at that, but still not outside the realm of possibility. The point where it got to be just ridiculous was where it started talking to the raptors, like, oh my god, it's part raptor, and I just sit there going, oh great, it has eidetic memory, it has rational thinking, it can talk to raptors, it slices, it dices, it makes julienne fries. This is a Swiss Army dinosaur.
It is a Swiss Army dinosaur. It's a terrible thing.
And I was just like,
that we made. Ding.
And I'm just like,
I think that was kind of part of the point, because the whole purpose of the movie, the overarching moral, is that people should stop wanting things to be bigger and better and flashier and whatever. They made something that is so absolutely ridiculous, in order to make money and to get people to come to the park and revenue. And that's all, when they were making it, that's what they were thinking about. They were thinking, oh, this will be really cool, and this will be really cool, and this will be really cool. And, you go back to Malcolm going, yeah, but did you ever stop to think if you should? and so yeah, the Indominus is sort of the embodiment of the stupidity of mankind, who cares about the aesthetics of something rather than the practicality or even the dangers of something.
It's kind of funny that you say it, because it kind of sums up my thoughts on much of the film's tropes. especially like all like. Just I don't know, the real thing that really kind of bothered me about this movie was, like I said, it didn't have the dinosaurs didn't feel like they had any weight or presence. I can't point to a single dinosaur effect in this film that I could say with confidence was 100% practical and hadn't been touched up by CGI in some point. And it's just, you know, you go back and you look at some of at the dinosaur effects in the first Jurassic Park film, and even Jurassic Park 2 and God Help Me 3. You know, use some kind of practical effects mingled in with the CGI that gave the animals some kind of weight and presence, but I just didn't feel that from this movie. Even from the fucking huge ass Mosasaurus, which, by the way, who saw that fucking ending coming a mile away? I know I did. Because they kept on going back to the fucking Mosasaurus. Like, in the beginning, oh, we have a Mosasaurus. Second bit where it swallows a woman. Oh, yes, do you remember we have this Mosasaurus? You probably should, because it's going to be important later. And I'm just like, you're fucking giving me your whole plot line on a flashcard here, movies. Please stop.
Mosasaurus, now is that like a dinosaur with a pretty big beard and he separates the Red Sea?
That would be amazing.
It's basically if a blue whale had teeth. But now
I like my joke better.
Yeah, see, I liked the joke.
But of course, there's one bit in the movie that no one will forgive us if we don't talk about it. So, Kat, take it away.
Oh, which bit?
Yeah, there's several bits. You have to be specific.
I mean, there was a lot of bits, and I don't know where you're going.
And there were people in bits.
There was so many bits of people.
The last
all
bit,
over the place.
the primal rage bit. Rexy.
When Rexy came out, oh my god. Okay, so I love the imagery of when Claire goes and she's looking all tattered and torn, and she's got the fucking flare, and she opens up the T-Rex paddock. And you're like, it's such a... Okay, first off, it is such a beautiful callback to the first film where Grant, was facing off with a T-Rex and had the flare in his hand. And, there she is. And it's the original fucking T-Rex, who I guess T-Rexes live that long? Science doesn't know. But anyway, and then the T-Rex comes out and she fucking lures it to go take on the Indominus. And you're like... Holy shit. It's a great fight. If you wanted nothing else out of a film, you wanted to see two giant fucking monsters fight each other. And that's kind of where you go, yeah, great, yes. It's sort of like Transformers. You just want to see giant robots beat the shit out of each other. You don't need the people. And that's kind of Jurassic World. You just want to see the two big dinosaurs fight each other.
I gotta ask, Kat, since you probably got the whole first film memorized, did you notice on Rexy the scars from when she fought off the raptors in the first movie? I saw those in the last shot. And I was like, oh, that's a nice touch.
I had heard, like, they had shown some promo pictures, and they said, look at the scarring, this must be the same dinosaur, and I'm like, sweet, and then when she actually came out, and you're like, oh my god, it was very touching for an Uber fan like me to bring back, a character. Like, Woo's there, yeah, that's fine, returning actor, but to bring back a character, like Rexy, it was pretty awesome.
That's kind of funny and cool, just because, like, in the first film, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, you always thought, like, oh, that's going to be sort of the bad guy, but a lot of people who saw the films, that Tyrannosaurus Rex wasn't bad. It was just a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I mistook villainy for being a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah. So to see it come back almost heroic like this, to me, was like, man, I kind of want to see the film now.
Yeah, so it's again another great callback to the first movie, where in the first film the T-Rex came in and saved all of the people from the velociraptors and was the hero of the film. And then in Jurassic World, they get the T-Rex in there, fights the Indominus, and saves the heroes from the fucking Indominus with the help of a fucking velociraptor, which I thought was just, it's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous, but I love it.
All right, now we touched a little. Gonzo touched a little bit on the special effects, and obviously this is a special effects heavy sort of movie going into it. Kat, I want to just hear your thoughts real quick. did you find special effects adequate, good, or just like, well, special effects?
I thought they were pretty good. Obviously, nothing will ever truly compare to the original Jurassic Park because of how good the effects were for the time. Like, they're good by today's standards. For the time, they were revolutionary. So it's hard to call anything good by comparison to the original Jurassic Park. I think the effects look a lot better on the big screen than they do in the commercials for it. I don't know if that's usually it should be the opposite. But when I went in, I didn't really notice anything wonky with the effects. I didn't think anything looked terrible or looked too unrealistic or the color palette was too crazy. You can tell it's CG versus animatronic. I don't know if there was any animatronic and what kind of practical effects went into it. But I enjoyed them. I really liked the look and feel of the dinosaurs. The raptors were awesome. Loved the raptors.
Yeah, I've seen the memes already. The memes have started. You know you've hit something.
I'm posting all of them.
Yeah, when you hit something good when the memes have started.
My biggest problem wasn't. It's not that the dinosaurs look bad. It's just I don't feel like they have any presence or any weight. And I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm jaded and bitter and cynical and alcoholic. One of those things is not like the others. But you know,
you're totally right about the
just,
mosasaur. It doesn't have enough weight to it. That's why I kind of favor the raptors more than anything else because they are light creatures. So them hopping around and shit, like it feels like they have the appropriate amount of weight for what they are. Whereas some of the bigger dinosaurs just don't seem to really quite do it.
Yeah. So, well, that's not quite what I mean, but I'm having a hard time putting into words. I need John here because he'd be able to translate for me. So, screw you, John, for not seeing this film.
Speaking of hour of needs, we're going to start wrapping things up here. So, we've already had sort of the general thoughts. I think we kind of know how everyone feels about the film themselves. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to skip directly to our wonderful scale, which I'm probably going to screw up because I don't remember it very well. But I remember it starts off usually from best to worst. Best being, go see this movie now, wait for matinee, check it out on DVD, rental, don't even bother. Mine again? Yeah, mine's called Fuck This Movie. So, Dr. Gonzo, I'm going to start with you. Where does this movie, Jurassic World, fall on the scale?
While it didn't particularly wow me, I would be very hard-pressed to say that this movie was bad, because it certainly wasn't a bad film by any stretch of the imagination, but it certainly, to me, didn't live up to the promise that came along with it, or certainly to the legacy of the first film. So I'm gonna say, if I was being generous, I would say wait for matinee, but I'm gonna give my final rating as wait for DVD. So.
If you are a movie critic of any kind, you should probably just wait for a matinee. But if you don't overanalyze everything, you should totally go see the movie now because it's awesome. And it's just overall it's a great popcorn flick. It's good action. Like Gonzo said, it's fairly predictable, but sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing. I enjoyed it quite a bit, probably a little too much. I cried a lot. I loved it. I would go see it right now and then go out and buy some Raptor toys because you're going to want them.
All right. I know for a fact that I will eventually see this film myself, so I can give myself a nice general perception of it. But that's all the time I think we have for this week on Nerd to the Third. I'll thank the gracious host for letting me sit in the big comfy chair this week. Until next time, everybody, I'm Brian. And that's Dr. Gonzo, and that's Kat. All right, everyone, we're out.
Woo! Yeah.
Now get out of my chair.